It's fine that we barreled our way in here and all. But this fog isn't going to trap us inside like it did before, is it?
I can't be certain, but... it seemed to me that this fog was actually conjured to protect the Sandras.
Didn't just happen naturally, that's for sure.
Everyone! We're exiting the fog!
From what I can tell, we seem to have crossed through the Flumen Strait and into the Rogue Sea.
So that fog gave us enough cover to push our way past the sea fortress, huh? I guess what matters is that we squeaked our way out of the jaws of death.
Okay, I'm just gonna come out and say it! What in the crap was all that? Why did the Balta Sea Force stab us in the back?
Keep it down in there, goofball.
Oh, come on! Tell me this isn't insane! All of a sudden, our allies are raining fire on us while the Grieger bail us out!
Speaking of which, where did those Grieger end up going?
Good question. I'm not seeing any of their ships around.
Don't you have any idea, Easer? About why the Sea Force attacked, I mean.
I'm sorry, but it's a mystery to me too.
At any rate, it's too risky for us to be sailing out in the open like this. Might be smart to find a place to hide the boat and get her patched up.
Good idea.
The best thing we can do for now is keep our priorities straight. Some weird-looking formations over there.
I believe those are the Rune Islands. They're also called the Eroded Remnants, named after the array of oddly shaped rocks left behind by coastal abrasion.
Well, I'm no grizzled naval commander, but that island over there might be the safe haven we're looking for.
True. I have no objections.
Then that settles it. Okay, how's about we have everyone give a status report?
All of the wounded have been attended to on our end. Adol's condition requires constant care from my father and Dr. Flair, though.
Adol. I'm worried for him.
Damn it all! We should have known that witch Yurth had one last trick up her sleeve. It's a done deal, though. The Sandras is what needs our attention right now.
Yeah. There's no telling if or when the Balta Sea Force will track us down again. On that note, we finished verifying which parts of the ship have been wrecked.
Nice work, Cruz. How long do you think it'll take to get her back up and running?
Well, it's about the same level of damage as it was after our run-in at the Sea Fortress.
If we expedite the process at full bore, it should take around 3 days. That's a generous estimate, though, with how exhausted everyone is.
Don't sweat it. Repairs are just part of the routine at this point. We'll round up everyone who can pitch in and knock it out lickety-split.
Leave it to Dogi to keep the cogs turning.
Adol?
Not so fast, man. You sure it's okay for you to be strolling around?
It's a miracle you even can. The way it looked, that blade struck you right where it counts.
What a relief you're all right.
Even Dr. Flair couldn't believe he got better in so little time.
Ha! I figured you weren't gonna kick the bucket that easily.
Guess this is as good a time as any. Adol, everyone, there's something I want to say. I'm still reeling over it, so this might not come out exactly right. But, as of a while ago, I can now tap into the might of a berserker.
For real?
The might of a berserker?
I was there this one time Grimson used it. It's this Norman thing that makes you crazy. And I mean crazy strong.
That's not much of an explanation.
One of the mercenaries in my group was a Norman. So I've seen the Berserker state before too. It's an intense form of combat that lets the user fight at multiple times their usual limits. The way I hear it, they can't stop until every last bit of energy they have is spent.
That much is true. You get completely overtaken by powerful, uncontrollable impulses. It's as if your body's consumed with a burning desire to turn everything into ash. That feeling holds you hostage, causing you to attack anyone and everyone, friend or foe.
How awful.
Sounds no different from Rosa during her runaway rampages.
Maybe you'd like to be turned to ash?
That's pretty much what I thought going berserk was like too. Apparently, it gets triggered by the darkness in one's heart.
Well, I don't have anything of the sort.
But back on the Naglfar, once it looked like Adol was at death's door, those impulses started building up more and more. Right when I thought they were about to erupt, they wrapped around Yurth and absorbed her instead. Before I realized it, my gnawing urges had changed into something else entirely. I could tell what it was by instinct. There was no other way to see it. This power is... no. It's more that... I'm Rollo.
Rollo. The one whose descendant the three generals were seeking?
I'm not sure I follow.
When my urges took Yurth in, they gave birth to a pitch-black emotion I couldn't rein back. One that rejects everything about the world, existing only to bring it to ruin. That in itself is the Rollo the Trident was hoping to manifest. Turns out the descendant of Rollos they were looking for, their liege, was me all along.
You, Miss Karja? That's absurd.
There's gotta be some kind of mistake.
I wouldn't be so sure. This would explain why the Balta Sea Force double-crossed us out of nowhere.
About that, it all pretty much happened at the drop of a hat. Almost like they knew in advance.
Aye, odds are, Grimson was keenly aware of me being Rollo. As for why Other and Logr protected the Sandras despite being Grieger, well, I think you can put it together.
Forgive us for eavesdropping, but we heard the whole thing.
Given the subject matter, I'd say we're entitled to listen in.
Pops. Dad?
Many of Karnak's residents have been saved thus far as a result of your efforts. Our differences aside, I speak from the heart when I say we are grateful to Karja.
It's for that exact reason that we've been so forthcoming with our cooperation. But then we heard what you said just now.
Karja identified herself as the Grieger's liege. Should that truly be the case, we will have to reconsider our involvement.
Pops, are you freaking serious?
This should come as no surprise. I am the mayor of Karnak, after all. We can't very well join hands with the same band who leveled our town.
Look, we still can't say any of this for sure yet.
That's right! Not even Karja herself has sorted it out!
And besides, think about everything we've gone through together! Adol and Karja were the ones who rescued you both in the first place!
I understand the point you're trying to make. But the fact of the matter is that the Sandras was just bombarded by the Balta Sea Force. What do you suppose would become of us were we to stay this course?
Ahem. Cruz. I've been letting this slide up till now, but it's high time you took a fresh look at things. You're a smart kid, my boy. This shouldn't be a tough decision to make.
But...
Hello. Mind if I cut in?
A Grieger?
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. I do hope you can forgive this little disturbance. Might I prevail upon you to humor me with a momentary truce?
Logr.
So engrossed were you in your dialogue that it left no window for me to announce myself. But my, isn't this just the most delicious of developments? Why, merely standing before you has me awash in goosebumps. Karja, you are indisputably the latest in our liege's lineage. Rather an enigma how we failed to notice as much for all this time.
Indisputably, he says.
It can't be.
Well, if I really am Rolo, then what comes next?
Ah, yes. For the time being, what say we have you meet with Lady Leela? Oh, there's no purpose to speak of. Being our liege, Karja has every right to meet with Lady Leela. As for the why, I'd say you're better served inquiring that of her directly. Not to mention, it would be ill-advised for our liege to remain with the Sandras. The spooky, scary Balta Sea-Force is out on the bloodthirsty hunt after all.
Land sakes!
What's your take, Shield Brother? But we aren't exactly spoiled for choice. You have to meet with Leela either way. Right, Adol?
Excellent. It would seem you have your decision.
Karja, you can't!
What she said! There's no reason to believe a word out of this guy's mouth!
Here's an idea. To the fair people of the Sandras, I will impart a gift.
The heck's this?
A sunstone. An ancient tool that's certain to be of use to your ilk. With it, navigating even the depths of the whiteshade will prove a trifling matter. This, in turn, will allow you to reach Serenes Island in the Marine Triangle, where Lady Leela awaits.
Why are you giving this to us?
If you're going to exit the main stage, the least you can do is play the part of a rapt audience. Though that doesn't quite seem to be your inclination, given the flow of conversation earlier. As your mayor made plain, you may no longer have any incentive to play along.
Hey! We've got every intention of...
There is no word that rings more hollow than the human concept of intent. Mayhaps you had best confer with the rest of your circle? Now then, my liege, let us depart once your preparations are in order.
Fine. Never thought I'd see the day I sailed under Grieger colors. Aye. No signs of anything tricky underfoot, but that's only for the moment.
Dear, oh dear. How disheartening it is that you're so on guard, my liege. And to think, your welcome presence has me elated to the point of choking on my tears.
Quit chewing this scenery. If I really am your liege, then answer me this. Where did Other go?
He stayed behind at Grugel Fortress to deal with the Balta Sea Force. No one else has the capacity to keep your father dearest at bay. Even I was given a good thrashing during our altercation earlier.
Grimson. He knew about this Rollo business the whole time, didn't he?
You're asking for my impression? Having reflected on Grimson's actions and the Balta Sea Force's behavior in retrospect, I would even go so far as to say they had deliberately steered you toward awakening as Rollo.
Stow the wild guessin'!
My word. It should go without saying that this is merely conjecture on my part. Save your questions for Lady Leela, perhaps, if you wish to learn more about yourself.
Leela? What's she got to do with me?
I'm afraid my lips are sealed on that matter. Why, you ask? Because it'll be far more entertaining to have you hear the answer from the woman herself.
She's linked to the Grieger somehow. On top of being the one who gave Adol the power of mana. We're way past the point of treating her as just some person. Aye, now that you mention it. Either way, we're stuck dancing to his tune for now. We need to get something out of this. I'll be damned if we come up empty.
A sight for sore eyes. At last, we enter the Marine Triangle.
The whiteshade! That time we entered it from the north had us wandering blindly, unable to tell left from right. That giant crystal. Is it the same as the one you gave Gren?
The sunstone. It is an ancient tool that locates the position of the sun, directing you to your port of call. Once upon a time, the Normans developed a variety of techniques to aid their forays into the great blue unknown. Sunstones, fashioned out of a mineral known as Silverberg, are among their antique creations.
That's so. Hold on a second. If you're the one making the fog, then why even bother with this thing?
From our perspective, humans are helpless, fleeting creatures. I find it oddly endearing how such a species employs their ingenuity toward invention in their struggle to survive. You could consider this my way of paying homage to that.
Can't say I follow.
Aha! In more pertinent news, I do believe our destination is in sight. Over yonder is Serenes Island, where Lady Leela resides.
Yeah. Won't be easy for this ship to make it to shore.
It is as you say. The surrounding reefs prevent the Uvolti from venturing any closer. Apologies, my liege, but you will have to make the rest of the journey by rowboat.
Huh? You aren't coming along?
I shall be following you in short order. In spite of appearances, my duties are many.
Not sure what to think. Not him. Ever since we met, I've wanted to learn more about myself. Something inside me always had a hunch that I wasn't normal. But this is just Too much. And Grimson, he never told me a word about it. Is it because he knew this would happen? Or even worse?
You're asking for my impression? Having reflected on Grimson's actions and the Balta Sea Force's behavior in retrospect, I would even go so far as to say they had deliberately steered you toward awakening as Rolo.
Grimson's side? Don't know if there's any excuse out there that can justify setting your own daughter up. I won't let this go without giving him a good slugging. Mind tagging along when I do? All right. Thanks. I feel better now. We can go ashore on that beach up ahead. Just keep rowing forward.